Hello, everyone. So this is a popularity ranking thing from the month of February. This is Generation 3 OU. This is just how popular all the Pokemons were, and I rank them numerically in order from most popular to least popular. There's a total of 57 Pokemons that I'll be showing you. And I'll be starting with the Mr. Number 1, Tyranitar, the king of the sand. Everything bends to their will. Not too much of a surprise there because there's like 50,000 sets you can run on this guy, especially the infamous Rain Dance Tyranitar. Very good Tyranitar. And then, as per usual, there's a massive gap, bigger than the Grand Canyon between number 1 and number 2. So number 2 is Metagross. It had 38%. So you got a 10% usage difference between those two. And then Swampert and Skarmory came in at 33%. This is actually the same exact top 4 order from the month of January. If you don't understand how a calendar works, January is before February. So that's 2 months ago at the time of this recording. And I gotta say, and every time I see this, it just don't seem right. Like Tyranitar number 1, yeah, that makes sense. I see that guy all the time, but I think like it should go Skarmory, Swampert, Metagross. I see Metagross quite a bit, but like Spikes is such a focal point in Gen 3 that everybody's running that Metal Bird like everywhere. And then Swampert, that makes sense. I mean, I use Swampert more often than anybody else on this entire platform, as we know, because nobody gets punched more in their Mudfish gills than I do. Now, check this out. Gengar has risen a little bit. So, this is our little 30 to 25% usage rate tier. Gengar is number 5 now. Last month it was 6. It was almost 7. You know, it wasn't even trying to be funny there, but it just kind of happened. Like it actually has been going up in usage, and it was a little slightly over 29%. So it almost was hanging out with the big boys right here. It's, Gengar, just very extremely versatile Pokemon. And then we have, I would say, probably the best mixed attacker in the format. Plus, they're a Dragon Dance sweeper. And then, I mean, if this was a real tier list, it should look like that. That'd be correct. But this is a popularity ranking. But honestly, when I fight my enemies, it still kind of feels like it's like that. Now moving on to 25 to 20% usage. This is the tier that really despises sand. If you threw Blissey in here, it'd be perfect. But Blissey is gone and taken herself to much higher, greater places. But yeah, all these guys hate sand. Zapdos, Celebi, particularly Snorlax and Suicune. We got Zapdos, who is a very, very common lead, always sub baton passing, and as we all know, we've seen it before, Zapdos has a 30% chance to paralyze you with Thunderbolt if your name is David. Celebi, number 1 leech seeder, and never ceases to make you angry. You don't, because you yourself probably don't have a grass type, because the only 2 relevant ones really are Celebi and Breloom being the only other OU one. Then I guess, if you're feeling a little edgy, you can use Venusaur and Sceptile. You want to be cool, you want to be different, you can do that. But most of the times you're just going to get hit by a leech seed. And then generally speaking, the most dangerous ones that I've noticed, it's just the setup ones, particularly Calm Mind. Swords Dance works too, but I think Calm Mind's a bit more painful because Celebi can actually use those stats for itself to hit you with Grass or Psychic or HP Fire. But no matter what, it never will fail. It's just going to have Leech Seed all the time. It'll have Recover all the time. The last 2 moves are up for debate. And then we have Snorlax and Suicune. Those 2 are always fighting to see who is better. And most people would believe Suicune is, but right here it seems Snorlax is more dependable. And I'll tell you right from experience, I actually used a team where I had I had both of them on. And they're both, doing Snorlax and Suicune things. They're both setting up and unaliving everybody in their path. And honestly, I think Snorlax did a better job than Suicune. It's just that you have to overcome hurdles to get to that point. Like in a perfect universe, I think Snorlax is actually stronger than Suicune. Plus, you can also run a Snorlax that doesn't even rely on cursing and swearing like a sailor and resting. You can blow up. I don't know how Snorlax learns how to do that, but he does. And then Suicune, as many believe to be the best boost sweeper in the game. I could see that, although it does sometimes feel like, well, if you saw my Dragon Dance Tyranitar matchup chart, you would understand. But yeah, Suicune, very, very dependable. So yeah, all you guys have to do to be better is clear the weather, and then you'll be S tier. So the next tier is 20 to 15%, but don't be fooled. I just went in increments of 5s to, make it more easy to categorize, but they're actually all 19%, believe it or not. Aerodactyl's barely over 19%, and Dugtrio was 19.7 at the top end of that range. So they're basically all, used equally in terms of usage. And yeah, we have a struggle for the best trapper in the game, who I would have thought Dugtrio would have had a much... Yeah, I would have thought it had an arm and a leg on Magneton. Well, Dugtrio doesn't have arms or legs. Or does it? Or does it? But yeah, the Mole family versus the Magnemite family. I mean, I think Dugtrio is much more dependable. I think it's a better team player. I think it's more useful because you can trap more things with it. And you can unalive Tyranitar and then use somebody else to clear the weather. But I mean, on my team that I tried with the one with Snorlax and Suicune that I mentioned earlier, I actually had both these trappers on it. Because two of the most common Pokemon, as you can see right here, are Tyranitar and Skarmory. So you get rid of this guy, no more sand. They can't put more sand out there. And then you eliminate this guy with Magneton, clear the weather, and you kind of just shut down their whole game plan. They lost their Spiker and their sand, which they probably depended on. And if they had these two, they probably have more Pokemon that are immune to sand on their team. So these guys are very, very good at enabling like team archetypes. Then you have Starmie. Starmie, pretty versatile. That thing can destroy Superman teams. It can be extremely annoying. It can be a miniature Blissey with Thunder Wave, Recover, Rapid Spin, and Surf, those defensive ones. It's kind of weird. When you look at Starmie and you look at the numbers, you wouldn't think it'd be very good defensively. It is. Even in the sand, it is. I don't know how it does it, but it's so unkillable. But honestly, the one thing that really shuts it down, it's Blissey. It's Blissey. It has some other problems with, like, I guess Celebi too, if you don't have Ice Beam. Even if you have Ice Beam, it can give you problems. But it's just so fast. It outspeeds so many things in the format. It's a great special attacker. But to me, I can't see Starmie being, like, much higher than this because literally of Blissey. And then we have the next Pokemon who... This is number 17 now, guys. So 1, 2, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I lied. It's 15. Aerodactyl is the 15th most popular Pokemon. That's too low. That's way too low. Granted, it's tied with these three for 19%, but it's too low. It should have been, just, if a few more people just decided to rock slide, flinch people, and be villains, it would have been 12. I think it should be like somewhere out here. This thing is so stupid, and it cheats so many games. I think it's one of the most underrated Pokemon. I do, along with Blissey, because, I mean, many people obviously believe Blissey is great. It's one of the best Pokemon, but I'm saying it's literally the best Pokemon. So Aerodactyl, probably the second most underrated, give or take. Maybe it's the most, depending on who you ask. I hate that thing. I hate getting flinched. I hate how it's so simple. This is how I see it, right? Aerodactyl... Like, if you asked me this question a year ago, I actually would have said Aerodactyl is probably around this area. The reason I think it's higher now, if this was a real tier list, this is just usage, but I think it's better because Speed Pass was banned. Now that that's banned, it's like Aerodactyl has created a monopoly for itself. The only things that speed tie with it is Jolteon, who is weak to sand and spikes and can get poison and stuff. And Crobat, who no one really uses because they'll just choose Aerodactyl over that guy. There is Electrode. Electrode's rather uncommon. Electrode, spoiler alerts, isn't even in the top 57. It's not too common. And then Ninjask, who, once again, Speed Pass got banned. So they're even less competition now. So it's really just this guy is the #1 speed threat. So you can send him in and he can just flinch you. And it's kind of up to Arceus at that point if they want you to win or not. And if you're me, I'm not winning. Okay, we're moving on to the bottom half of these dudes. So from 15 to 10%, it's Claydol, Jirachi, and Fortress. We have all the rapid spinners very close to one another in proximity. Starmie, well, as I told you guys already, these guys are all basically 19%. So there's about a 5% difference between these guys and these guys. But they're all kind of in the same neighborhood. Now, word on the street is most people believe that probably Claydol is the best rapid spinner, which actually does kind of check out with this logic. Because as I already told you, Starmie is... It can be used a lot for being a, special offensive dude. This guy... I don't think I've ever seen a Claydol in my life that did not have rapid spin. Same thing with this guy, but this dude, he threatens Gengar, who's the, primary spin blocker with Psychic, and then he has pretty strong stab, Earthquakes, and Explosion. So that's kind of what gives it the edge over Fortress, but Fortress can obviously set up spikes itself, so that's kind of what it does. It's basically like a Cloyster that doesn't take a lot of sand chip. Now, I got it confused. Jirachi was Mr. 17, not Aerodactyl. Jirachi, in my opinion, a bit underrated. It is immune to sand, and oh man, this thing causes a lot of... It's really annoying. Wish, Protect, Toxic, Fire Punch, Body Slam. I've seen Calm Mind Thunder. Oh my god, people, really? Like, Calm Mind Thunder. You people fight with no honor. So David's just out here getting struck by every thunder in the middle of a sandstorm of all places. Not even like Kyogre Rain, like Tyranitar Sandstorm. Tyranitar. That's his name, Tyranitar. And with a 60% chance to get paralyzed, you know what's happening to David every other turn. So very, very painful to fight. They say this thing has 4 move slot syndrome. Look, every single Pokemon's got 4 move slot syndrome. This thing... It consistently causes me pain and agony. But yeah, I guess it just kind of fit right there because not too many people use it. I don't know why. I guess you guys aren't trying to win. Now, we have the 10 to 5% usage rate next. Now, if this was like modern day Pokemons like Scarlet and Violet Gen 9, right? This would basically be the cutoff point from OU falling to UU, right? Because I believe it's like 4.57 or 5.2 or something. So these are the final line of defense before they get their rank deducted. So Jolteon, as I already told you about, the strength of Jolteon, it's basically the fastest thing in the game tied with Aerodactyl. I think Aerodactyl's better because it's just better suited, and it has that stupid, annoying move, that one that always does the thing to you. Jolteon does not have these tools. Jolteon... Most commonly, it's going to have Thunderbolt, probably a hidden power. Which one does it have? The one that kills your Flygon / Swampert, whichever one's more appropriate. And then it's going to have like Sub-Baton Pass. Sometimes Thunder Wave, sometimes Toxic, sometimes Roar. That's usually what it's rocking. Heracross. I actually polled you guys between the fighting types, and this is actually the numbers I saw. Between Heracross, Breloom, and Medicham. It actually went in that order, so I guess this kind of checks out. In my opinion, yeah, I actually do like Heracross the most. I think Slack Heracross can be a little scary. If the conditions are met, it can kind of just kill everything. Even in the sand, I've done it before. People are like, oh, the sand, dude. Don't underestimate the beetle. Then you have Charizard, who, by the way, dude, the gap used to be a lot smaller between Charizard and Moltres. It's only grown. Moltres is literally looking like UUBL. It's crazy. He's literally like a whole tier below Charizard. But yeah, Charizard, one of the best mixed attackers. He's really like one of the best anti-meta dudes. He's very good at fighting the big 5. He's got Sub-Focus Punch for Mr. Sandstorm, Hidden Power Grass for Mudfish Gills. Gengar can't switch into it safely without, getting eaten alive by a flamethrower. Then you have Skarmory, Flamethrower. I forgot the other guy. Who's the other guy? Who's part of the big 5? Blissey. Yep. Charizard gets Focus Punch and beat up. Now, personally, from my experience, I haven't had too much success with beat up on Blissey. I guess I just have no idea what I'm doing. And then Flygon. Flygon's a pretty good rock resist. I have actually run into a few choice banded Flygons that I admittedly underestimated, and they absolutely cooked me, and they made me feel sad. I haven't seen the famous Gust Flygon, though. I mean, if I do, it won't be that much of a concern, because I haven't used Heracross in a while, and I almost never use Breloom anyway. Oh, speaking of Breloom, Breloom's next. A lot of people like to lead with Breloom. I think it's better to use it later on. Like, I get it. If you start the bout with it, you just get a clean sleep on somebody. But if you save it for later, you can find a good entry point on a good matchup, put somebody to sleep that you know that you're faster than, sub, focus punch, cause a lot of pain and agony, that kind of stuff. So I think it's better to save it. Metacham's actually a pretty good lead too. That thing, once again, it's just like the Jolteon thing I was talking about with HBI/Grass. If you lead with like Tyranitar, you're just gonna lose. No matter, it doesn't matter what you do. Oh, David, what are you talking about? I'm gonna send in Gengar. No, you're not, because it's gonna click Shadow Ball. All right, fine, I'll just stay in. No, you're not, because you're gonna die to a Brick Break. It doesn't matter what happens. It's just gonna kill you. You never win those 50-50s. And then you have the fish, or one of the fish at least. This guy, I've seen some interesting opinions on Gyarados, where a lot of people could say Gyarados is good. Like, I was about to start kind of, gassing up my mans over there. He can fly with those little whiskers, if you know. That's why he's part flying. But I've seen some comments, and they kind of have a point. Everybody says Gyarados is, like, good, and they say pretty legitimate reasons as to why, and then they just don't use Gyarados. Huh. I will say one really good thing is that guy's got taunt. But honestly, I've been using a taunt Tyranitar lately. That thing is scary. But Gyarados also gets Thunder. What? No, Tyranitar gets Thunder Wave too. And then he sets up the Sand. Don't worry, Gyarados has that strong stab, hidden power flying, so you can depend on him for that. All right, everyone, we're moving on to the next tier. We got the 5 to 3% right here. So this is basically, as I kind of stated earlier, this is where we start falling into the UU territory. It's not really a thing in Gen 3 because it just doesn't update like that. We're not cool enough for that. So, but this is where it would be, where we start falling. So we have Registeel, who is officially, at the moment of this recording, the most popular Pokemon in UUBL. It is the most popular Pokemon that's not an OU. And I like it. I like it. You guys have seen me use Registeel a lot. Like, I know I was just talking about Gyarados a second ago. People say Gyarados is good and they don't use it. I'm one of those people. I think Gyarados is good, but come to think about it, I don't really use it. I actually use Registeel. Registeel is cool. The problem with Registeel, well, at least the curse one that I use, is that thing is literally cursed. It just invites so many crits, and then you're sad, and then you lose. Up next is Raikou, who many people believe is just the best UUBL Pokemon, although it's kind of struggling with Registeel right now. The guy just gets Doug trapped. That's, kind of the main thing. If Dugtrio did not exist in this universe, it would be a much different world that we live in. Then we got the fish. I'm kind of surprised the fish is that low. I don't think it's like bad right here. I think it's just Raikou and Registeel are underrated a little bit, just a little bit. It might look kind of bad that Milotic's usage has dropped a little bit, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's a very infuriating Pokemon. If you infuriate me, that means you're a good Pokemon. It's just a good mixed wall, mono water. What are you weak to? Water. Yeah, yep. Water's weak to water. You're weak to electric and grass, right? So that's kind of it. Good stats. You do decent damage. Toxic, refresh, you're unkillable. Yeah. Moltres, I will say, caught my attention. Moltres, with the exception of another OU Pokemon we'll be getting to down the road, Moltres has been falling a little bit. I guess main competitor's Charizard, the other fire flying type, but I don't really know how to word this because, like, it is a fire flying type, but Charizard doesn't do what Moltres does. They do, yeah, their jobs are different. Like, Charizard, mixed attacker. Moltres, oh, another thing that's kind of sucks about Moltres is it has an awkward speed tier. It's slightly slower than the 100 speed benchmark, so it can get outsped by crucial things like Zapdos. That's an annoying one. You don't want to lose to your cousin right there. 4 times weak to rock is not cash money. Water, you know. Their typing isn't very good defensively. It's all right offensively. There's some type overlap, you know. They're both super effective against bug and grass, and they're both resisted by rock, but it's okay. But you can't even really use like Morning Sun sounds cool. I've never seen a Moltres not on like. Well, I've never seen Moltres use Morning Sun though. That's the thing. Like, I think if it could do that, maybe the universe would look a little different. Then we have Regice, who, in my opinion, if I had to rank them best to worst, I would not agree with this. I think it goes Reggie Steel, Reggie Rock, and then Regice. Regice takes chip damage. It's basically supposed to be like a Blissey that actually does damage, which is respectable, but yeah, runs into some issues like the rock weakness. It has Psych Up though. I've seen that kind of ruin me a couple times. I've seen people use Thunder on this guy. That's ruined me a few times too. That's always fun. I love getting hit by Thunder, my favorite move in the game. And then there's Kingdra. By the way, a bit of a gap between Kingdra, who's at the bottom of this tier, and then Ludicolo we'll be getting to later. Me personally, I'm a Ludicolo fan, so everybody using this guy, you're just missing out. Sorry. Now we have basically the real UUBL tier from 3 to 2%. These dudes all have, you know, funny niches they fulfill. Then okay, so first it's the number one knockoff user. I like this guy. This is like a guaranteed way to force something to go down in this format that can sometimes be really slow thanks to Blissey. And I'm being sarcastic. I hate that thing. But yeah, Hariyama kind of solves that problem. If you can get like 2 to 3 knockoffs, you've basically completed your mission and you've done your part. Especially if you can take it out. If you can knock off like leftovers from like Pokemon around this area, all these bulky ones, it's fantastic. Blaziken. Nobody is better at losing to Blaziken than I am. I've been 6-0 by that thing. Vaporeon, I'm thinking about it, it's kind of like Jolteon, but just a lot slower. It subs, it baton passes, it surfs, it hydro misses, sometimes ice misses. Toxic, I think it even gets Roar too. It's just a different typing and it's a lot slower. That's the main difference. Wish. This thing goes for Wish. I would say that's a big difference. A Wish. Oh, and then this was the guy I was talking about when I was referencing Moltres. So every time I do like one of these videos talking about the usage rankings, I swear, Cloyster gets less and less popular. People do not like Cloyster. This thing is OU. Many people believe it should be UUBL, and I think the numbers are actually backing it up. Like last time it was starting to look rough for Cloyster. Cloyster was 33. It was the 33rd most used Pokemon. Now it is 35th. It just, I don't know. It gets worse with time. It ages like milk. So I actually just got done drinking some milk. Why is that? Not the milk thing, but why is Cloyster falling? Well, I don't freaking know, but I mean, dude's weak to sand. It's just like a fortress, but the dude is weak to sand. Cloyster has a good matchup with like Swampert because it has a massive defense and it resists, you know, Swampert's special attacks, and that's kind of the main thing that I could think of where Cloyster would be better than Swampert. And even then, Swampert can just it could toxic you. It could cringe protect. It could sub focus punch you in the face right there in your mudfish skills, Cloyster. It can, you know, end you literally with Endeavor. So even that guy you're supposed to be doing good against, not necessarily. And then, you know, you rapid spin on Gengar. You're just like Fortress. You know, Gengar will outspeed you, kill you with a Thunderbolt. And yeah, your explosion does nothing to that guy either. So I think it's just a worse version of Fortress to summarize. It's nice to have the Stab, Surf, and Ice Beam, and that's kind of the things. Like if you use Cloyster on your team, that's really the reason why. Is you would have to think about the meta and be like, who do I really need to hit Surf and Ice Beam with? Oh, these guys? Okay, I'll use Cloyster for Fortress. That's the point. Smeargle. You know, I tried a hyper offense team with Smeargle. I'll be honest, I didn't really like it. Speed Pass has been banned. This thing, eh. I mean, it can put you to sleep. Willow Mist, knockoff Leech Seed. I saw that one time. That was pretty annoying, but meh. Houndoom. Houndoom has Fire and Dark is very good offensively, but like you're gonna get destroyed by people like Doug Trio, the water types. Tyranitar can pursuit trap Gengar, you know, so why not? Why would you use the Hellhound when you just could use the number one most popular guy ever and set up the Sandstorm too? Oh, by the way, Houndoom's weak to sand. Regirock, this is just wrong. This is wrong. You guys are underestimating Regirock. That guy is the man. You can paralyze people and then paraflinch them, which is always funny. Porygon 2 is a Walmart Blissey, which means that I still hate it. Oh, actually, a Walmart Blissey is Chansey. Who, if this was a real tier list, I literally think Chansey would be here somewhere, but nobody's going to use Chansey when they could use Blissey, but... Well, I guess that's not the case. I did battle somebody who I inspired, and they literally had a Chansey and a Blissey on their team, and I did not beat them. But the cool thing about Porygon is you can arena trap people and magnet pull trap people and make them not happy. Dusclops, I haven't actually seen this in action because I never used a Dusclops before, but I think Dusclops actually does good against Blissey. And then you have, man, we see a lot of walls right here. Porygon, Dusclops, Umbreon. Yeah, Umbreon, Pursuit, Toxic, Moonlight, Wish, Protect, Pain, Agony, that kind of stuff. I think oh, yeah, no, I one time saw an Umbreon that had Curse, and it subbed, it cursed, and it baton passed to Aerodactyl, who I believe had a white herb to drop the speed drop, and then it would just have this massive attack boost and defense boost and then just kill everybody. What an evil strategy. And then you got Ludicolo. Ludicolo. Everyone's sleeping on Ludicolo. Put him up there. These Pokemon are at the bottom of the barrel in terms of usage. You know, maybe they're sleepers. Maybe they're, you know, the next Tyranitar. But in terms of usage, they're down here from 2 to 1%. Barely over 1% being Glalie at the end. So first is Machamp. My opinion, just use Hariyama. Bro's got knockoff. Speaking of knockoff, Alakazam actually has knockoff, which I did not know. Alakazam, there's a massive, well, I guess it's not really that massive since you're in the 2% tier, but there's a bit of a gap between Alakazam and Espeon, even though Espeon has Calm Mind and Baton Pass. And I think it's because Alakazam gets Encore, which is a very, very good move and knockoff. And, you know, it actually has really good moves. It's just, you know, Mono Psychic and then Tyranitar, Sceptile. That thing, it's so fast and it has Leech Seed. Like it's like a Jumpluff that can do damage. I have fought a Jumpluff a few times before. That was also a nightmare. Scizor? I mean, Scizzor's immune to the sand, so I've seen people endure and then Swords Dance and Reversal do that kind of thing. Some guy had like an Omni boosting one. He got so lucky. Completely destroyed me. An Omni boosting Silverwind one. Whatever. I would not do that. Venusaur is kind of like Sceptile, but it has Sleep Powder as the main thing. So it sleeps you and then puts you, or it throws seeds at you. So I guess it's kind of like Breloom, but it's actually faster than Breloom, and then it has real like grass and poison coverage. So I guess that's the real thing, because Breloom doesn't have grass coverage. It'll just always have Mach Punch, Break, Focus Punch, even Sky Upper Miss, and then sometimes HP Ghost for Gengar, but never has grass moves. Venusaur does have grass moves. Weezing has like the worst typing in the game, being poison, but he's got Levitate, so he's able to dodge a lot of this nonsense. And he has Willow Miss, and I believe Pain Split and Haze. So this guy also has a lot of good utilities. Jinx. I hate fighting Jinx. I have the worst luck against Jinx. I always get hit by Lovely Kiss. I stay asleep for 4 turns, and I get frozen every other time by Ice Beam. It makes me sick. Dragonite. Poor Dragonite. Why did Salamence have to exist? Not only is Salamence just doing almost everything better, but even the ability that Dragonite got was just kind of whack. Inner Focus is cool because you don't flinch, which sounds wonderful because I hate Rock Slide. But then you realize Rock Slide's just going to destroy Dragonite anyway because he's a flying type, whereas Salamence can intimidate, Aerodactyl. So that sucks. Poor Dragonite. Then you have Armaldo, who I've battled a few times. That guy is very good at fighting Snorlax. You can actually just use Harden. If you didn't know this, Harden, I'm not joking. Harden Armaldo defeats Snorlax. Because you can match Snorlax's attack boost that it gets from Curse, and then you just use Seismic Toss, which does fixed damage, so you don't care about Snorlax's defense boost. And then Armaldo also gets knockoff, and Armaldo is immune to the sand, so that's cool. I mean, I'll be honest, one of the times I fought Armaldo, he didn't do any of the things I just said. He went straight for Swords Dance and went for like Rock Slide, HP Bug, and Earthquake. He chose Violence. Speaking of Violence, up next is Slacking, who I think they feel a little bit stronger than this thing. Like this thing feels like it should be a tier above. This is like a power ranking thing. Slacking's actually a good lead because there is no team preview. So if I don't know you have a Slacking, you can just kind of run out the gate and punch me right in the face and do so much damage and then run away. It's not like there's Choice Scarf, Sticky Webs, nothing like that. You just kind of, it's the ultimate hit and run Pokemon. Donphan, a Rapid Spinner. I legit think it does rapid spinning better than Cloyster. I don't think it's as good as... I don't know. Starmie is good because it can heal. Claydol can avoid the spikes. But it might even be better at rapid spinning than Fortress because I just think Donphan has better longevity. It has a nice, strong stab Earthquake, too. And he carries HP Rock because bro doesn't want to miss Rock Slide. I like Donphan. I've never really used it, though. And by never really used it, I mean I've never used it. But I do like that Pokemon. I think it's better than Steelix, who's the next guy. Steel is cool. Steelix works well with Gyarados, but as we've already deduced, nobody is using Gyarados to begin with. These numbers are fake. Nobody's ever used that Pokemon before. Then you have Arcanine, who's literally a UU tiered Pokemon. I think it's the only UU tiered Pokemon in this whole thing. Everyone else UUBL. Oh, my bad. Glalie coming up. Okay, well then there's Marowak, who used to be a lot more dangerous until, the Pokemon overlords here on Smogon or whatever decided Speed Bass. I don't like the Speed Pass thing. I don't like Marowak killing my whole entire team, so... Since that happened, Marowak, I actually still have gotten roughed up by a couple Marowaks, but it doesn't induce the same amount of anxiety that it once did, where I don't know if this guy's going to have double speed and then, just outrun everything, get a Swords Dance up, and then just kill everybody. Now he just has his Bone, his Thick Club, and then Pain and Agony ensues. And then number 57 on today's list is Glalie, who is... I guess technically it is the most underrated Pokemon in the game because it's sometimes seen in OU. And this thing is like NUBL, I believe. So it's like multiple tiers below. It's crazy. This thing, the dude shows up. I mean, it kind of makes sense on paper. You show up, you taunt, you spikes, stab, Ice Beam, you blow up. I guess the main okay, there's two main things holding back lately. One, it's typing, Ice. This is no longer Generation 1. Those Ice days are over. And 2, it's stats. Take a guess what Glalie's stats are, guys. You see how, like, Jirachi and Celebi are good? That's because they have 100 all around, right? And they have pretty decent typing, too. Glalie has 80 all around the board. Any thoughts on this? Any thoughts at all? If you want my thoughts, I would say... There you go. All right. I'll see you later. Take care.